Greetings Legionnaires, welcome back. This is the first time I've been in my channel for a very long time, so it's a big event to be back for. It's the Galaxy in Flames expansion, and given what I've been told about this one, I'm quite hyped to see if they can pull it off. I've been promised, well, not promised, I've been told that the goal for the expansion is to try to move the meta away from things like face bashing warlords and turret spam and these kind of things, and to get back to the entire root of the concept of the game, which is the legions, and in particular the Astartes of the legions. So this is going to be a very Astartes focused set, apparently. Will they pull it off? Well, we'll get into that towards the end, but in the meantime, I've got some quite exciting cards to show off here. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the Galaxy in Flames Imperial Fists spoiler cards. Let's start with my least favourite. First off the rank is First of the Templars, very appropriately named. And it gives +2/+2 and Battle Honor Heal 2 to a friendly Astartes. I'm pretty low on this card. For starters, it's overvalued. Just for those of you who are new to the game perhaps, stats tend to be valued about 1 energy for a 1/1. So 3 energy for a 2/2, and you've got to try and do a bit of work to get that Battle Honor to trigger. So you consider that blank for a bit. So it's kind of 2/2 for 3, +2/+2 for 3. And that's not fantastic. There are better cards that do see some play, for example Sigillate's Chosen, which is a +3/+3 for 4 energy, but that also gives Survivor 3, and that's a lot better than the potential to heal 2, a lot better. And there's also the one from the Defenders of Caliban, which buffs your entire board for +2/+2, and obviously your entire board for +2/+2 is much better. For a mere 1 energy more, it's night and day. So yeah, this one hits the high level play, but if you are playing with it either in draft or you've got a lower collection, small collection, play it on the same turn you attack with it. Don't let it sit around and be defensive unless you've got a lot of front lines, because A, it surprises the opponent, and B, you really want to get that heal 2 to potentially get the best value you can out of this card. An interesting use might be with Sergeant Amand, who would be able to play this on curve with the new card I'm revealing last. You down boy, be back later, and well, you can have a think about that when I reveal that card and see whether that'd be such an interesting tactic. Right, let's move on. Card number 2. This is a rare troop, a 4/4 for 4, which is perfect parity for value, and so of course it's got an ability too. Rally, give frontline and +1/+1 to a friendly Astartes. This is kind of an effect we've seen on a similar Imperial Fist troop, namely the Gerlach squad, and but this one also gives frontline as well. So that can be very handy to suddenly jump out of nowhere and give a giant beefy troop you got on the board +1/+1 and frontline, which means they now actually have to deal with it, whereas before they might have gone around it. That said, I'm not as high on this as it was before. Yes, it's 5/5 of value for only 4 energy, plus the frontline as well, which is always great. But looking at the Imperial Fist set, most of their Astartes already have frontline. Most of the good ones you really want. Some of them don't, but those are the ones you maybe don't want to have frontline in the first place. So yeah, I was higher on this, less so now, and well, another thing that drops off my ranking of this card a little bit is that it can't hurt it can't affect itself. It can't buff itself when it comes in, of course. So if you don't have anything on the board, this is basically a 4/4 for 4, and that's really not where you want to be. Starters, 4/4 for 4 is really tricky to say, and second of all, power creep is a thing, and even cards from the original set, like the Reapers, the ones who come back every time you kill them, are 4/4 for 4, and at least they have an ability as well that always comes back to your hand. This is just a 4/4 for 4, and really you feel bad when you have to play it like that. So another reason not to be too high on this card. When it works, it's fantastic. It's buffing something and giving exactly where you need it. You're moving your stats around exactly where you need them and blocking off the enemy. But yeah, I start off more excited about this, not as much now. It's still pretty good though. It's still very good value when it works. Alright, and now my favourite card of my reveals, and this is an absolute doozy. It is, drumroll please, Markov Squad, the epic troop. 1 energy for a 1 attack, 2 health frontline. With a rally, put in play 1 Markov Squad. So, in other words, you get 2 of these for 1 energy. Now remember before, where in both cards we also mentioned the value of stats. 1 energy is a 1/1. So, a single one of these is not too bad already. You've already got the 1 attack, 2 health, and the frontline ability tacked on top. It's alright. It's not great. In fact, it's kind of bad. You'd never put that troop in your deck if you had anything else to put in that slot. Except the fact you get 2 of them, and that makes it amazing. Now, you're probably thinking, Iron Duke, you've gone a little bit mad here. Yes, that is a total of 6 stats for 1 energy, and that is the best value I've seen in any troop ever in the game so far. But it's still just a 1 and 1/2, 2 1/2s. That's not going to ruin anyone's day, or will it? Let's think of the possibilities here. For starters, let's just look at the very basics of it. If any deck had a 1 energy put in 2 front lines, yeah, they're really easy to kill, but do you always have 2 attacks available? Yes, if you can, but anyone else? No, not necessarily. It's another way to slow down the opponent. So let's say you had on third energy turn, Diaz puts down his turret and then plays this card. How many people can attack 3 times in 1 turn to take care of that turret? And you always feel bad if you have to use a tactic on one of these little guys. What a waste. Feels bad, man. So yeah, it's a big speed bump for the opponent, but I don't think it's even meant to be used as a speed bump. I think this is a combo card, because remember, the Imperial Fists like to have a lot of troops on the table at the same time. Let's consider a few cards. For starters, Dawn's Reckoning. Every troop you control at the start of your turn gives you a -1 to your Reckoning cost, which, the more troops you put down, the more likely it is to have more on the table at the start of the turn. Second of all, the Sons of Dawn mission that Creed revealed just yesterday. That wants front lines on the table at the beginning of your turn. And again, the more you're putting down, the more likely you have to have one at the start of your turn. So, that's the very basics. Now we're getting to the fun stuff. After all, 2 1/2s are relatively easy to deal with. But what if they're not 1/2s? What if they are 1/3s? Which can be done with both Stalwart Defenders and Sergeant Amand fairly easily. Very easily, in fact. And what if they're not even 1/2s? What if they are 3/4s? That would be a lot better for 1 energy, wouldn't it? 3/4, 3/4, frontline twice for a single point of energy? Well, now you're changing the game. And it's not just single point, it does require these other cards to set up, but this is my point about this card. This is not a play it on turn 1, play it on turn 2, whatever, just play it early in the game as some extra bonus front lines. This is a combo card, and it combos with so many cards in the Imperial Fist deck. All these cards here make this 1 energy go so much further. You know, you have the Assault Terminators in play if they survive, and then you play your Markov squad and buff it to a 3/4. 2/3/4 with frontline in a single turn for 4 energy total, plus all the buff to your other troops too. Or on 6 energy turn, play down the Markov squad, play down the Archimas. Hey, that's a whole lot of stats in play for a mere 6 energy. So that's good. Stuff is yet to come. It's a combo card again. You wait for other cards to play it with. So essentially you're adding 1 more energy to the cost of these cards to greatly increase their value. For example, the squad which comes into play and gains +1/+1 for every other friendly troop in play. Gorhagen squad. Lovely names, all these cards. So easy to remember. Yeah, on an empty board, it would come in by itself as a 3/4. At 5 energy turn on an empty board, it comes in as a 5/6, and you still have your 2 little front lines around. Again, so much value. Your Retribution. Retribution, if you have the Markov squad in hand, Retribution now costs 2 less. Or essentially, you can put down the Markov and discount your Retribution by 2. So on 6 energy, you can play Retribution with no troops on board. Markov, Retribution. Or 5 energy, you could play Retribution for 3. 2 Markovs and then your Retribution for 3. It's amazing how much value you can get out of this. These little 1/1s. And that's it. The main value is not there to be the front lines. They get picked off on turn 1. They're there to add value to other cards. Void Maneuver, still not a great card, but if you're for some reason using it, hey, it's at least a little bit better. And last of all, the big finisher, Justice Gunfriend. You play him on turn 9 energy turn, and put the Markov squad down first, and you just done an extra 6 damage. Just this 1 point of energy for this little card can give you so much value in so many ways. It adds exponentially to these cards. And that's really what the Imperial Fists are trying to do. So, that said, how do I feel about how these cards are adding to the goal of the stated goal of the expansion, which is to have, well, I have literally been told, make Astartes great again as the goal. How do I feel it works with that? Well, right now they're saying they want to move away from turret spam, because no one particular likes turret spam. But I've got to wonder, do these cards purely just facilitate turret spam more? Maybe. I mean, after all those tricks I just mentioned with the Markov squad, they're not really out of place in a turret spam deck, are they? We haven't seen yet a really amazing card that you'd want to be protecting all these new frontlines. I mean, I had essentially 2 frontline cards, and Creed himself had, I think all 3 of his cards had frontline, didn't they? In some way. Well, yeah, but right now that's just protecting the turrets more, surely. I kind of want to see it something else we can be putting behind that front lines instead of turrets, because I really do enjoy the idea of making Astartes great again, having really powerful, strong Astartes cards. But I'm really hoping it works. I'm hoping that we haven't seen something which is going to make us go, oh, screw these turrets, I want that in my deck. And we build around that instead. Yeah, right now it's kind of looking like Markov might just be another turret protector. Because he works very well with that too. I'm also hoping we can find a way to make him work well with the Astartes deck. Because, yeah, I also really want to see this stated goal, changing meta around. I love seeing 2 full boards, well, as full as possible. Two boards of troops duking it out. And if they can pull that off, I'll be very happy with this expansion. I would love to see it. Let's hope it works. That's it. I am out now. Have a great day, guys, and see you on the battlefield tomorrow when the expansion finally drops. Happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans out there. Hooroo!